So sometimes when you come to town, you're on vacation, you're visiting family, you're here on business or whatever, there's going to come a point where you need to start getting away from people. That's just the reality. And the best way to do that is to visit one of our city's parks. Hey guys, Steve Reynolds here with Dalton Wade in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. We're going to be covering everything from the downtown core all the way out to the Gulf beaches. We're going to be checking out the historic neighborhoods, everything in between. So please hit the subscribe button for more great content. And if you're thinking about relocating to St. Petersburg, Florida, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Love to help you out. Love to help people relocating from out of state or out of town. And with that, let's go check out some parks. So the first park on the list is Albert Whitted Park, which is honestly mostly parking lot. There's not a lot to do here, but if you do find yourself in this part of town, especially if you just come from the Dali Museum, it's a pretty cool place to take a stroll because you get a view of the entire downtown, you get a view of the pier, and then the reason that I come here a lot of times in the morning is because Albert Whitted is the little executive airport. So it's only the little Piper Cubs and Cessna planes that take off and land here. So if that's your thing, stop by. There's also at the other end, back behind me, there's an aviation themed playground for the kids. So it's not a place you're gonna spend all day, but it's a pretty cool place to spend an hour or so, watch a few of the planes take off and land, get some pretty good views of the city. It's never crowded here. There are a couple of pavilions for shade. And like I said, you get this unbelievable view of the water and the city. So stop by sometime. It's Albert Whitted Park, right behind the Dali Museum. So next on the list is Straub Park, which is not the biggest park in St. Pete, but it's probably got one of the best locations. And also it's super shady in here, so when it's hot like it is today, this is a great place to chill out for a while. But Straub Park is like a little strip of green space in between the bay, which is behind me. So you get the beautiful views of the bay, but also behind me is Beach Drive, which is where all of the cool restaurants, bars, shops, and galleries are. So this is really the perfect place to take a pre or post dinner stroll. So do what I do is I just get an Uber, have them drop me off 3 or 4 blocks from wherever I'm going, stroll through the park, build up an appetite, and then go to one of the great restaurants. Ceviche especially is one of my favorite. And then after that for gelato at Pachugo, which is the best gelato in town. So this is Straub Park, about 4 or 5 acres of green space, a lot of shade, very cool. Come check it out. So this is North Shore Park, and I would argue that it's probably the most popular park in the city. It's certainly the biggest. I think it's 30 something acres, maybe 35 acres. And there's a little something for everybody. There's huge open green space. There are palm trees. You can string a hammock in there. There's also a dog park over here. There's an aquatic center with full Olympic-sized swimming pools. The kids and cubs play softball here. And that's the, believe it or not, 74 and up league, which I didn't know people still played softball into their 70s. There's also an outdoor gym, and there's a kids' playground over here. There is tennis courts, and it goes all the way down to Coffee Pot Bayou, which is, probably a good mile from here. So you can come here with the family and do pretty much anything. Grab frisbees, take advantage of the open park. You can take a dip in the pool. I'm not sure what the fees are for that. Usually a few volleyball games going at any given time, which is some good people watching. And here we are at the Giselle Kopsick Arboretum, Palms and Cycads. I don't know what a cycad is, but Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, I get it. But this is one of my favorite parks in all of St. Petersburg because, first of all, there's no one here. And seems like there's never anyone here. And there's nothing to do here. It's just a park filled with palms. Some woman 50 or 60 years ago bought what was a mini golf course and got rid of it. And she apparently loved palms, so planted 100 different species. There's about 500 palm trees in here. And rarely is anyone in here. And if they are, they're just moving through the walkway. It's a really cool place if you need to get away from people, sort of a moment of Zen kind of thing. Just walk through. Don't try to memorize what type of palms they are. I've been here 50 times. I still couldn't name 2 of them. But it's a really cool place. It's shady. It's a beautiful brick walkway. Take 20 minutes if you're at North Shore Park. It is kind of a micro park within North Shore. So take 15 or 20 minutes, stroll through, recharge the batteries, and then you can go back out into the world. This is the Arboretum. All right, so we're just around the corner from the park that I've labeled parks to avoid. It's just not a place that you ever want to go, really. And now that I'm getting close, I'm realizing that it's probably not a good idea to film there. Not because there's any danger or anything, or I feel like that I'm in any danger, but you know, obviously you can guess why I would say that the park is not a place that you'd go. And you know, however you want to classify people who sort of sleep their days away in the park or do drugs or drink or whatever it is, you know, so be it. I'm not making any political statements here. I just don't feel like it's a great thing to film people who are not doing well, and there's almost no way to avoid it. Now, I will say also that it is Saturday, and it is the one day that you can go from, say, 9 to 12. They do the Saturday market, which is kind of a farmer's market kind of thing that usually is in the stadium of the Rowdies, where the Rowdies play, a few blocks away, but there's no shade over there, so in the summer they move it over to Williams Park, and it's still a really good Saturday morning market. So I'm going to take a look, maybe get some shots or whatever, but you know, obviously I don't want to film people who are not doing well. I'm not going to film people who are, you know, whatever, passed out. I don't even like saying that. I just want to let you know that if you do come to St. Pete, there's like 100 parks here. There's probably 15 really good parks downtown, North Shore being probably the best bet because it's got a little bit of something for everybody. I'm just saying that as far as parks to avoid, there's really no reason to go there. There's nothing to do. It's shady, and there are benches, and there's a band shell that occasionally they'll do a show there or whatever, but by and large, it's just not a place to go. So we're just going to keep that on the list of parks to avoid, and we're not going to embarrass anybody. So anyway, you see what the park could be and what it is on a Saturday morning from 9 to noon. It's beautiful, it's shady, the vendors are out. It's really nice. And I guess, you know, every city probably has one park that the powers that be have sort of given over to people who, you know, don't have a place to go during the day. And that's, you know, I guess that's just the way it is. I don't know how that's solved. But if you do come to St. Pete and you're here on a Saturday morning, by all means, if it's in the summer, stop by Williams Park, check out the vendors. But afternoons, evenings, even though it's right downtown, it's got a great location, probably not the place to be.